guys, it's Katie here, and I am the Katie behind Katie DeGroff Knits and all of the lovely videos that you see here on my channel. A huge warm welcome back to everybody that is a returning watcher, and a big warm woolly hug to all of you that are new here. Don't forget to take a moment and subscribe so you don't miss another one of my videos. This one is the one that everybody's been waiting for, my Indie Untangled and New York Sheep and Wool haul video. This is gonna be a beefy one, so grab your favorite beverage. This is just a dirty chai that I whipped up in a super cute mug that I got at the most adorable tea shop in Rhinebeck. So cute. They had all these cute little mugs and teas. Shutting up now. Moving on. Yeah. Just buckle up. Okay, make yourself comfortable. Grab your knitting, your crocheting, whatever the heck you're doing. Maybe a pad and a pen in case you want to, buy anything that I bought. Sorry, not sorry if I'm going to enable you. Let's get to it. I am going to preface this with, this was my very first yarn event ever. I've only been to a handful of local yarn stores in my day. That being said, I'm now addicted to, the yarn festival world, and we've already made plans to go to another one in Boston in February. I have a ton of social anxiety, so I just avoided the in-person everywhere. And everybody talks about the community, and it's purely magical. Like, even if you are a socially anxious person, it almost sort of just takes it away. Like, everybody is, together, and they're on the same page, and they're there for the same goal. And it was magical, a magical experience. I can't say it enough. My heart and my mind are so full, they are bursting. I was literally running on pure adrenaline so much that I literally have a bruise on my arm from carrying my totes. And I was telling John last night, I was like, I literally have a bruise on my arm. Why didn't I realize that my arm was hurting? And do something about it. He's like, you were running on pure adrenaline. Holy cow, what an experience. If you have the opportunity at all to experience this entire weekend, you need to do it. I was lucky enough to have my family there with me, supporting me. I am going to say it was a little difficult, navigating Rhinebeck at, 9 a.m. when the gates opened with 4 people in tow, but we did it. Did I stick to my budget? Did I stick to my plans? Did I come up with things on the fly? What did Katie do? Towards the end, I will be going over all of my expenses. And this is for a family of 4, and we did do some other things this weekend, so I will talk to you about those. But you'll get to see just how much I spent and how much it cost me. So if you want a similar experience, or you want to just know, hey, what does it cost, or what's a roundabout number, I got you covered. And that's at the end. There's time-stamped chapters all below if you want to skip ahead to something else. So first, I am going to go through, and I'm just gonna let you know, I have 0 notes. I never ever use my notes that I take, so I skipped making them, so hopefully this works out. But first, I'm going to go through everything we did for the weekend, and I will pop in videos and photos and all that jazz so you can see it. We left very early Thursday morning. I was able to bump up our Airbnb check-in because we went rail biking through the Catskills. We've been rail biking with Rail Explorers in their Rhode Island division, and we loved it so much. Peak foliage right now. We're like, oh my gosh, we have to do this. They were great with that. So we went rail biking through the Catskills. It was a little chilly, but it was fine. You just bundled up a little bit, and it was great. It was 4 miles in, and then they actually turned the cars around, and then 4 miles out. If you have an opportunity to go rail biking, Rail Explorers has, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think 7 or 8 different divisions in the US. Oh, I'll tell you about the house we stayed at too. We did not get to enjoy the full amenities of this home because we were too busy, way too busy. They did have kayaks and inner tubes and like a whole outdoor kitchen and fire pits and you name it, they had it. It was crazy. On Friday was Indie Untangled. I did research all of the vendors prior. Like I said, my number one stop was Frogget. Mobile Yarn Truck, had to meet Tasha and Brian. So awesome to finally meet them, and they are just the sweetest, nicest people. I had a small laundry list that I was getting from them, and Tasha rang it up and she's like, "Do you want to see the total or you just want to pay?" I'm like, I just want to pay. I honestly cannot remember the order we went to vendors in, or the order I made purchases in. I don't remember. So I'm just going to talk to you about what we see. And also, all of the video footage and photos that you see were taken by my little personal vlogger, Sophia. I gave the girls both jobs. Should have said this earlier, but I gave the girls both jobs. So it took it off of me so I could just be in the moment. So Sophia was my personal vlogger and photographer, and Elizabeth was my personal shopping assistant. We had an amazing time. It's really set the bar so high for a yarn event. Oh, we shot up to Rhinebeck that day and we checked out the town. An amazing tea place. Like I told you earlier, that's where I got my mug. So we got some boba there, which it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Rhinebeck reminds us a lot of Mystic, where we live. So it was great. Little hometown feel, tons of shops. Perfect. We had to come home to get up super early to go to actual Rhinebeck. We left our house at 6:30 in the morning. We were the 5th car in the parking lot. First stop for us was Miss Babs. I had to congratulate and meet the wonderful Babs herself on her gracious retirement and her transfer of the company to her right-hand lady, Ivy. Then after that, I was beelining around doing different things. I am so glad I made a plan. It was so great to meet all of these dyers in person. When we hit Primrose, that's where John finally found his sweater yarn. It was like a little kid in candy store. It's like, I don't know, do I get this one? Do I get this one? And he's walking around with like all these different colors. It was so cool. After the whole Rhinebeck. Then the next day, we were supposed to stay home and do like family stuff, go on the kayaks, all the jazz. And we realized Legoland was only an hour away. So we wound up going to Legoland. And it was really nice because we bookended our trip with family thing. If you like Legos at all, you got a family, it's amazing. You need to go. It was time to go the next morning and we had to say goodbye to our super cool house. So overall, I am coming home extremely fulfilled. I have zero regrets, absolutely zero. The things I feel I left on the table there were things that I had no immediate plans for, that I felt at that point like it would be so far in the future that I would knit them and potentially have no idea what I was going to do with them. So I'm really glad that I did that, I cut a few stops off of my list and really focused on what I had. I'm fulfilled. I have zero regrets. I'm very happy. I'm very content with everything I purchased. So I'm going to go through my haul with you now because I know you guys are chomping at the bit and many of you may have just skipped ahead to this part. Oh my gosh. Everybody that I have purchased from will be linked down below. But after this, I will go through my project plans. I don't have exact project plans for everything, but I have it for most. So I'm going to go through it with you and pop a photo up of the project or the plan and the yarn, and we will chit chat about that. Let's get to my haul. Honest to God, the only places I remember in order that we went to was my number one stops. Otherwise, I really honestly have no idea. So I'm going to start with my number one stops, and then I'm just going to go down the line. My number one stop at Indie Untangled was the Frogget Yarns mobile yarn truck. Had to go see Tasha and Brian and see all their beautiful things. I did check all my boxes off at their truck. Literally, I walk in this house and there's dog hair on everything. It's so ridiculous. I was going to wear my Rhinebeck sweatshirt, and that's upstairs. Crap, I gotta get that. But menopause, yeah, I was having a giant hot flash, so wasn't doing that. So number one purchase was their exclusive colorway that was dyed and milled for them by Yarn Hero. I got the fingering weight, and I normally will use a color changing yarn held with a contrasting solid to really make it pop. But I saw Tasha working up a plain vanilla pair of socks and I loved it. I'm like, I've never used it like that. So I think I'm gonna go copycat and I'm gonna do a plain vanilla pair of socks. So to really appreciate the colors. Next up, I was telling one of the things, side note, that was not in my plans video is I had, because I came up with this after I filmed the plans video, is I had Sophia, Elizabeth, and John all pick out projects that I was going to buy the yarn for. I'm going to knit for them so they can remember their trip with me. And Sophia wants I will go over these plans at the end too, but she wants a pillow. So I told her, I'm like, you need to pick out at least 2, if not more, yarns for this. And she beelined to this skein of Merino Sport in Frogget Yarns Sport Base. And it is in the color Sunrise. So pretty and so fun. She's like, this, Mom, this. I'm like, okay. Gotcha. I told him, you're going to know when you see it. You know, we're going to see plenty of yarn over the weekend. So she picked this up. Then I had a random project that I wanted to get some tweed somewhere over the weekend. And I wanted to hold it with some kind of fuzz. Fell in love with this skein of BFL tweed fingering from Frogget Yarns in the color Pucker. Absolutely fell in love with this color. It is almost the same exact color as my Sassy Strings cardigan that I was wearing. I did finish, wore it both days. And I, at one point, was holding it and I looked down at myself and I'm like, this is the same color, but this is tweed. I am not wearing tweed. So this guy I earmarked for Saturday, and I told Elizabeth, my little personal shopping assistant, told her, I'm like, I need some fuzz to go with this, but I don't want it to be green. Then they had their Indie Untangled exclusive colorway. It was called Cozy Bookshop. And Tasha had samples knit up in the fingering and the DK. And she had a hat knit up in the DK, and I loved it. So I knew for my personal self, I had to pick up a set in DK. It's just so pretty. And I love how tonal it is. So many times we always want things to be of a high contrast. And I personally myself almost never go tonal. So this was absolutely one I wanted to go tonal with. So this is mine. Then I had to pick up some, which I didn't know they were doing this, but they wound up giving me one of these because it's for a pattern for next year's Sucks@. Pattern collection. So this was going to be my tonal. There was going to be one tonal in the collection and this was it. As soon as I saw that this was their Indie Untangled colorway, I was like, that's it. That's what I'm doing. So I picked up 2 because one's going to be socks, one's going to be an accessory. So this is on their fingering base and it's just beautiful. Love it. Absolutely love it. So this was on my list. Then I am not a holiday knitter. I don't knit Halloween stuff or Christmas stuff, and I want to get into doing that. And when Tasha had put up their Halloween colorways, I really loved Mr. Frogget's that he had developed. No offense, Tasha, but I loved his the most. And he didn't want a mini with him. So I had to get my own damn mini. Oh my goodness. I had to do all this work. But it's absolutely beautiful. It is called Happy Hauntings. And it's just these fluorescent speckles. Just these fluorescent speckles and purple and a little bit of black. And ever so perfectly Halloween. So I paired them with Black Mini. I thought those went perfect. And if you go to their yarn truck, they have not only fingering minis, but they also have DK minis for you too. Something else I had on my list was a random sock set. And I was eyeing this colorway on their website and I was like, I bet when I see that in person, I'm gonna really want that. So I picked up a skein of Northern Lights over Scotland on their fingering base. It is just so pretty. It's, I think, knit up, it's going to be so fun. Paired it with a lighter mini. I paired these guys together. But next, Tasha had spilled the beans that they're carrying Feederbrook Farm. And when Tasha had posted the little preview photo of it hanging up in their truck, I had circled these two colorways. And I was like, I really hope they're still there because these are what I want. And then there was this other one. So Elizabeth's plans are for a sweater. And if we're doing it in color changing yarn, she really wanted something that was a lot of colors. And I low-key really wanted her to pick this one. I didn't say a word to her because I wanted her to pick it. And she did. She picked it. This is Entropy DK from Feederbrook Farm in the colorway Bioluminescence. How freaking fun is this going to be in a sweater? I am so glad she picked this. I'm so freaking glad. And this is going to be my first project that I cast on with yarn that I got at Rhinebeck. So it is so fun. Like, how insanely cool is this going to be? So we cleared out quite a bit of Dash and Brian's Feederbrook stash. We got 4 skeins in Bioluminescence for her sweater. One of the colors that I had circled is called Hertz. It is beautifully tonal and neutral and so pretty. I was so happy it was still there. And this one I handed to John. I'm like, I need a darker color in DK that I want to use with this. Something polar opposite dark. He came back with Frogate Yarns DK, Merino DK, in the colorway Merlot. This is going to look so cool together. It's not exactly what you would expect to use together, and I think that's absolutely perfect. Then I made another Feederbrook purchase, and this was the colorway that I circled first. I was like, I really hope this is there, and I want 2 of them. 2 is a decent number. Don't know what I'm going to do with them exactly, but 2 is good. So I got the colorway Paradox. It's so pretty. I don't have anything in color changing in these colors at all. Just at all. And I also bought Feederbrook from another dyer, which I'll show you next. Somehow, I wound up buying 8 skeins of Feederbrook, and I never stepped foot in their booth. Oh my goodness. I think that's all I got from them. Oh no, it is not. I bought a basket too. I'm like, there's something else. Maybe I should have made notes. I got a basket for my whip bags and project bags that have whips or dips in progress. And yeah, so I got the basket too. So it's great. I mean, like, if you look at it, it holds all the yarn we got. That was purchase number 1 of the weekend. Next, I'm going to show you the other Feederbrook that I got. So we went over to Queen City Yarns, and I had pre-ordered a skein in their Spooko Lantern colorway. They showed a pair of slip stitch socks in this colorway, and I just fell in love with it. And again, I don't have any holiday type yarns, so this is going to go with Mr. Froggate's colorway, and I'm not going to get to him this Halloween. Maybe next Halloween I will have some festive yarn to knit with. Also, while I was at Queen City, I really wanted to try out their Lotta Classic base, and they have Lottie, which is a custom colorway for them. I did not know this, by Feederbrook Farms. This is a grid gambit kit. I'm not using it for that, but it gave me the opportunity to try their Lotta Classic out, which is a merino rambouillet superwash. just beautiful. But I fell in love with this skein of Lottie. It is so fun. I loved how it was mostly green and just a little bit of purple. It was the one skein that I found that was mostly green. So I was like, I need to have this. I just loved it. And it gave me the opportunity to try out their Lotta Classic because I'm really looking at this for future sweater plans and I absolutely love it. Next I will show you some absolutely gorgeous stitch markers I got from Sassafras Knits. She put up all of her previews of everything she was bringing on her website and on Instagram and everything. So I had seen both of these and I loved them. I tried to go for a fall theme with a lot of my purchases to try to keep myself on track too. And it'll help me like be nostalgic for Rhinebeck and all that. So the first one that I picked up was this absolutely adorable pumpkin and little gemstones. It is so cute. And I don't believe any gold stitch markers. So that was a plan. And then this one, just straight from when she put it up, it just kind of called out to me. It is a little teacup with some gemstones. Is that not the cutest thing? And the teacup is a progress keeper and then a little stitch marker. So these are so cute. Oh my goodness, I love them. I think next up we're gonna go to Camp Stitchwood. I love their stickers. Oh my goodness. They take like all of these random things and turn them into yarn in their stickers. And I didn't just make purchases there. Elizabeth got a sticker from there too, and John got a knitted mouse. John got a bunch of stickers. He has a gigantic stop sign that he got from work that he's been plastering with stickers from everywhere we go. They did an exclusive sticker in collaboration with Newburgh Yarn Company. And it's just so fall. Little knitting on your chair with your apples and your leaves. So I had to have that. Then sticking with my fall theme, I got a pumpkin spiced project, we'll call it. Very, very cute. And then I saw they had magnets. I was waiting in line to pay. And I was like, are those magnets? I need a magnet for my fridge. Meet knitting squirrel. Is he not adorable? He's knitting on his little sock. And I also wanted to get some stitch markers from them. Yeah, Katie, don't you have 8,000 stitch markers? Yeah, whatever. I don't have these. These are actually really cool. They're like acrylic on both sides with an image in the center. And I just really loved them. And again, I stayed on point with my fall theme. So I just loved these. They're so fun. And the little image is on both sides. So it doesn't matter which way your stitch marker flips around. It's there. And I think that is so adorable. Let's go off to Tinker's Hollow next. One thing that was on my plans for Rhinebeck and Indy was to find buttons for the striped Mommy and Me neon tweed cardigans that I have on my docket for me and Sophia. And I told her, I'm like, keep an eye out for buttons. And I wanted to get some wooden buttons from them. This was the only project that I had planned with buttons. And I had asked Sophia if she liked any, and she picked these out immediately. These are 3/4 of an inch big, and they are made from curly maple. They are beautiful. Then I picked some 3/4 inch ones made out of ambrosia maple. I stayed in the maple theme so that we kind of coordinate. These are absolutely gorgeous. Then they came out with a mixed media collection. And I'm not one to wear jewelry, but I had to get these. These are so fun. They're like little half circle. Just love them. So fun. And Elizabeth got a pair there too. She fell in love, and I forget what wood these are too. I don't remember. But she fell in love with these guys. They are inlaid wood. Like, they're so small. I mean, they're not tiny, but cover my face up. for the project size, the craftsmanship, stop moving, is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. They're beautiful. One of the dyers that was on my list to go and see their bases was Red Stag Fiber. Got their Indie Untangled exclusive, which is called Autumn in New York, on their cottage fingering base. There's some green in there. So freaking pretty. I walked by it and I walked by it again, and I'm like, I need to get this. Because I was a little hesitant because I'm like, it's not on my shopping list of my plans. But I'm like, Storyteller's not here. Here's my new sock set. And they had minis. They had a whole lineup of minis in their cottage fingering. So I grabbed two. I grabbed gloss, is that? An antique leather. Thought these, oh, minus the dog hair that's shining in the breeze. I thought these worked really well. Now, I just have 2 more purchases from Indie. We are almost nearing the end of Indie. Oh my goodness. Well, 3. I did get the tote bag. Had to. I just had to. Yeah, and that was a big, huge help. Carting around all my stuff. So one of, I don't know how this missed my plans video. I just don't know how this missed my plans video. This was my number 1 plan forever for Rhinebeck weekend, was to get yarn for the sweater, for an Ovis sweater. I wanted to get something from Newburgh Yarn Company. I just knew, seeing all of their yarns knit up, that I was going to love their yarn. I just loved it. And I had Dead Leaf earmarked. This is in their Hudson DK base. And I showed the girls, I'm like, what, like my sheepy sweater, what should the sheep be? And I was going between this one and their Adirondack Haze, which is like an ever so slight green hue to it. And the girls were like, no, not that. Get this one. So I let them pick it out, and it's called Antler Ivory. So I got myself a sweater quantity, and I absolutely love it. Oh my gosh. She was so lovely and so nice, and Sophia had her cracking up with my yarn addiction and telling her all about it. But I absolutely 100% will be back to buy more sweater quantities from her. It's her Hudson DK and her British wool bases were my favorite. And they are beautiful. Then my last purchase of Indie, kind of saved a real beauty for last. I had, chatted the whole way leading up to this about Handmade by Casey bags, and she's working with Line Steady Textiles. And I was like, I'm gonna get a tote bag. And I got there and was kind of taken by something else. I fell in love with the bags that were almost entirely the tapestry linen fabric, woven fabric. And when I purchased it, I was going back and forth between several. And again, I'm a green girly. I thought this was very fall. Diana from Line Study was like, I remember making every part of that bag. Like, this is my favorite bag. Oh my God, my favorite bag just sold. And she even ran into me. She stopped me at Rhinebeck. She was in the line at White Birch Fiber. And she's like, you bought my favorite bag yesterday. And I was like, I'm going to like adore this thing and baby it. I was literally, the whole night we got home from India, I was like literally petting it. And I was like looking at it, and it's absolutely gorgeous. This thing is beautiful. It's amazing. I can't even begin. It's a work of art. I have 0 regrets. The inside is a beautiful canvas. There's a zipper pouch. There's pen pocket, regular pockets. I have 0 regrets, and I would not mind having another. I'm speechless, absolutely speechless at the craftsmanship, and to think, I look at the woven fabric and just to think of the man hours, or in this case, woman hours, that went into this bag, I'm speechless. And I am so lucky to own this bag. So I didn't want to get one that was too small. I can fit a sweater in this in progress and it'd be just fine. So I thought about it. I'm like, I have totes. I really don't have a lot of sweater bags or larger shawl bags. I I'm speechless. If you're lucky enough to find them at a show or be able to snag one online, don't even think about it. Just do it. You will not be disappointed or sad. I sure as heck am not. That is it for Indie Untangled, my purchases. Okay, let's move on to Rhinebeck. So we only went Saturday because I did not want to do this 2 days. We were already doing Indie on Friday and I wanted to preserve some family time. Number one stop, beelined to Miss Babs. They had 2 show colorways this year. They coordinated with each other. I thought for sure, I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna love everything. I picked up the darker one. They had a lighter one too. Wasn't sure what base to get it on, but it seemed to extra shine in their Moon Glow mohair. So this is Catskills Hike. It is so autumnal and so beautiful. For some reason, it called to me on mohair. Like, I need to find something to go with it. And one thing I did want to pick up at some point was something with sparkle in it, because I really don't have anything here. So I went to their base of Australia, and I went back to this colorway, and this is Sparkling Sands, which I have on several other of their bases, but these 2 particular skeins just kept calling to me and nobody was grabbing them. So I'm like, they need to come home with me. And I think they will pair perfectly with my Rhinebeck exclusive Catskills Hike. Then Sophia grabbed this lovely skein of Moonglow in Puna Flamingo to go with her skein that she got from Frogette the day before. So she picked up this lovely pink fluff. Then Elizabeth needed a neckband, cuff, and hem color, solid color, that coordinated with her Feederbrook Farms that we got from Frogette the day before. So we decided on this skein of Miss Babs Yowza in Obsidian. Figured it was a great black. We took one of the skeins with us of her bioluminescence and like match it up. So, and this is a Yowza skein. So it's, what are these damn things? They're like 560 yards. So I'll have plenty for, folded neckband, cuffs, and hem. So we got that. And then she wanted fluff to go with. And we were debating between the black fluff, gray fluff, and I'm like, why don't we do purple? So she decided on purple. This is Moonglow, Miss Babs Moonglow, in the colorway Dusk. And how freaking fun is that going to be held together? And then the Moonglow over the entire color changing sweater. Oh my gosh, she is super excited about this, which warms my heart. And I'm super excited to knit it because holy cow, how fun is this going to be? So that was our Miss Babs purchase. So I'm going to do Katrinkles next. I had a pre-order with them and I pre-ordered, this is my entire pre-order. I just put it together. And I put some of the stitch markers on backwards, but I had pre-ordered this adorable sheep stitch marker holder. So cute, with a Rhinebeck set of charms. They're on both ways, so that's why I'm showing you both ways. They come with this adorable little, gosh, he's not a cooperative sheep. Little acrylic sparkly sheep. I just loved that. And on my list, as a good girl, I wanted to pick up one of her brand new gauge wheels. So this is going to come in handy, and because I'm going to be doing a lot of sweater knitting. And along the way, we stopped at an alpaca booth. John's always wanted to get one of these alpacas for the house, and how perfect to get it at New York Sheep and Wool Festival. So I was like, perfect. Meet Josh. This is Josh. He's got some pretty colors going on, as in Josh Allen, quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. But this is Josh, the hair out of his eyes. So he's going to sit on our shelf in our living room, all nice and proud. And Sophia fell in love with them too. So Sophia got one, and she just loved his hair. And this is Steve, after Steve from Stranger Things. And she got the Stranger Things Brickheads Legos. And so she's going to put Steve with his children, because Steve's the babysitter. If you watch that show, he's like Mom, Mr. Mom. Anyway, so this is Steve, and this is Josh. And in the same booth, let me put these back, because if the dogs get a hold of those, they're just going to nibble them and lick them, and I don't want that to happen. In the same booth, I was inspired and remembered my Queen City yarn purchase from Indy by this skein of Halo from the Alpaca Yarn Company in their beautiful Nouveau watercolor. I loved it. I just kept going back to it and back to it. And I really loved their yarn, and I really love alpaca, but at that point, I had already had, well, by that point in the day, I'd already purchased 4 sweater quantities of yarn. You still haven't seen 2 of them. But I figured I'm not going to buy another sweater quantity, but I want something. So I was inspired by my Queen City purchase and made this one. Not entirely sure if they're going to get used together. Well, we shall see. Then, moseying through the buildings, I got to Cotton Tail. And they have bags. And they have beautiful bags, beautiful Harris Tweed bags. And I figured if I didn't get the Line Steady Handmade by Casey bags, I was going to get a bag from them in Harris Tweed. But I also found, I joined a whole bunch of Rhinebeck groups on Facebook. And they had posted in the one Rhinebeck group how they had bookmark looms. It's a loom that you can make a bookmark on. And I've never used a loom before. And I'm like, that's really cool. If I come across this, I want to grab that. So I grabbed a bookmark loom. I already opened these, so they're everywhere. But I grabbed a tiny sticker pack of tiny sheep. John and Elizabeth also got stickers here too. And then all day, I was seeing skeins of yarn in acrylic stitch markers, but they were all too big for me. And I came across their exclusive stitch marker set for Rhinebeck in tinier little skeins. So I had to grab those. Oh my gosh, I have more that oh yeah, I'm almost done. No, I'm not. So if anybody is a Walking Dead or Jeffrey Dean Morgan fan in the Rhinebeck area, you'll know he lives there with his wife, Hillary Burton. And along with Paul Rudd, they were best friends with the owner of Samuel's Sweet Shop in town, and they were going under. The original owner, their good friend, passed away. They bought the shop. Now I've given you the rundown of it. Rhinebeck helped, the New York Sheep and Wool Festival helped make Samuel's popular. So they did an exclusive design. So I picked up their exclusive design in a sweatshirt. And John got a t-shirt and stickers, of course. It's so cool. And we had to get something from Samuel's because huge Negan fan here. I wanted to get a little sheep for my shelf. I'm like, I want a sheep. Find me a sheep. Let's go find a sheep. I wound up getting an alpaca that looks like a sheep. He's so cute. Oh my goodness. He's like a little black and white sheepy with his little bell. He's so perfect. I have the perfect little spot up there for him. And he is from Englishman Bay Handmade. So stinking cute. They had unicorn sheep and alien sheep. So cute. Sophia was almost debating, like, do I get an alien sheep? but she really wanted an alpaca, so she waited around and we got the alpacas. They also sold kits. You can make your own little sheep or alpaca. So I'll put him back in there. Put him up there. But I had to get a little sheep, or in this case alpaca, looks like a sheep, for my shelf. Of all things, one of the last things in this world I would think that I would get at the New York Sheep and Wool Festival is anything Buffalo Bills related. There was a stained glass vendor and I loved their sheep. And I've been looking for some, not tiny, but not huge and definitely not square stained glass for my kitchen window. And I've been looking for a buffalo in that exact size forever. And I'm looking at the sheep and John's like, they have a buffalo. I'm like, they have two buffalo. They have buffaloes. I'm like, did they have any other NFL teams? No. Why? Because they're from Tonawanda, New York, which is right next to Buffalo. So one of the last things on the face of this planet I would think I would get at a yarn festival is a buffalo. But I got myself a buffalo. So as soon as this video is over, now I can go put him in my kitchen window and display him for all his glory. So pretty. And I have all their information because I do want to get a sheep from them eventually. I just didn't want to go crazy there. And the buffalo was more important than the sheep. Moving on. Another one of my priorities on my list was to go see White Birch Fiber Arts. She doesn't sell too much online. She mostly does in-person events now. And way back in the day, I don't even know how many years ago, I purchased my big ass gradient cake that you've seen many times. Lives on my shelf next to my TV in a giant sheep ceramic yarn bowl. And I was lucky enough to purchase a gradient matching sock set. And I wound up using it for a gutter flower wrap. And normally when you use a gradient, you're going to go from one part of the spectrum to the other. But with these matching sock sets, you have the opportunity to go dark, dark to light, or light, light to dark. So you can go the opposite way. And I really love that. So because I can't buy these online anymore, I had 3 on my list. And I had John and the girls help me out in picking them. And they come in these really cute little zipper bags. How cute is that? So we got this guy. I don't even know if these have colorway names on them. I don't think they do, unless they're on the inside. No, I don't think they do. So I can't tell you what colorway they are, but they're from White Birch Fiber Arts, and they're their matching sock gradients. So I got this one. And then I got this one. And then I got this one. I really, really love those. And I can't wait to use them for some more wraps to go just the other way than you would normally expect. So I don't use them for socks. One of them I may use for socks. But I don't know. We'll see. Then when I was checking out, she had minis. She had her self-striping yarn in minis. How fun is this going to be? To knit a plain solid sock and then do the cuff, the heel, and the toe and self-striping. So I picked up a couple of these. Had to. Joey has eternally missed me. Let's just put it that way. He did stay home when we were at Rhinebeck, so yeah. We had 4 cameras on him. We bought him an automatic water fountain, which he never used. And I had treats all over the house. We were able to watch him the entire time, but he is literally on top of my microphone purring, so I don't know how that's going to come through, but he's just sitting here, upside down in my lap, content as can be, so I know. Okay. He's not going to leave me alone. So we're going to do things this way. So one of the other purchases that we made along the way was in one of the buildings, there was a jewelry vendor. And they had absolutely gorgeous jewelry. Just beautiful. 14 karat gold and sterling silver with gemstones, all kinds of stuff. If you wanted crochet hooks or knitting needles or skeins of yarn, or balls of yarn or anything. It was there. And then they had some regular stuff too. Elizabeth fell in love with these little acorns. These little acorns. They're so pretty. Okay, Joey. Yes, this is much easier if you get down. So she fell in love with these. She really wanted those. Those are from Spruce Mountain. And they're just beautiful. So then I'm going to get to my biggest purchase of the entire weekend. And one that I had, well, 4 plans really, well, let's say 5, going into their booth. But I'm talking about Primrose Yarn Company. Yeah, I did some damage there. 0 regrets. And I literally, once I had my purchases, I put my blinders on. And if I would not have done that, I would have spent like 10 times my entire budget in that booth alone. So yeah, I wanted to get their, gosh, the dog hair. I wanted to get their Rhinebeck exclusive sock set, which is Welcome to New York. 0 plans. It's just beautiful. Absolutely love it. I had also a Stranger Things mini set, but I didn't know that they were going to do a mini set as a Rhinebeck exclusive too, so I got that instead. This is their Welcome to New York mini set. I got it on their MCM sock base. So pretty. Again, 0 plans. Really hope that light's not shining too much and you can see them. So freaking pretty. Absolutely love these. Had to do that. And because they had Stranger Things mini sets, like an entire thing of them, Sophia fell in love with the Erica Sinclair mini set. So she picked that up. And I will go over my plans for this. But this is also on their MCN base. And yeah, she fell in love with that. She's like, Erica, hands down. I want Erica. I showed you this skein of tweed that I got from Frogget. And said I wanted some fluff with it. So I sent my little personal shopper, Elizabeth, out. And she came back with this beautiful sky blue aqua of the Crea Cloud, which is a Surrey alpaca and silk lace weight. I think this is going to be so fun. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I wanted fluff to hold with this, and Elizabeth came back with that, so I think she did great. Now, John was like a little kid in a candy store in this booth. Nothing had spoke to him enough to jump on it for his sweater. So he came back with, Primrose has a base called Replay. And they have it in sport and they have it in worsted. And he was just grabbing colors in both of them. Like, I don't know what to pick. Like, I don't know. Oh my gosh, what do I do? I love it all. It was so funny watching him get super excited over yarn. But he settled for his sweater on Primrose's Replay base in the color Granite Gray. He just loved it. He fell in love with it. The texture, the color change of it, and the little tufts and imperfections. It was quite humorous, but yeah, he fell in love with this. And initially I told him, I'm like, we should get some Surrey to go with it. But he wasn't 100% on the Surrey. And now he's like, I kind of low-key wish I would have got the Surrey. So when we go to our little festival in February, he's going to take a skein of this and get some Surrey to go with it. So we got a bunch of these. Yeah, we got 7 of them. And yeah, very happy. I have a very happy husband with his yarn. And I had all my plans videos, all these colorwork sweaters. And I got the Newburgh Yarn Company, Hudson DK, for my Ovis sweater. That's colorwork. I felt like I needed something solid. So I turned around and I'm like, green. I want a green. I got their replay base as well in the color gray green. It is a just I don't know what you would call this, even like a jadey-ish mixed with a little bit of gray. It's so cool. Oh my goodness. And as soon as I posted this, I had 3 different people message me that they have used this base, loved it so much, they bought more sweater quantities in this base, and how much they love it. So, yeah, I zero regrets. I wanted the fluff, knew I wanted the fluff. So I got their Crea Cloud in Muse to go with it. So I thought that would be the perfect little punch. I didn't want something that was exactly matchy-matchy, so it'll give it that ever so slight marling effect. So I grabbed 3 skeins of Sport and 4 of the Crea Cloud. So this will be a sweater for me. So, and you'll have to watch ahead in the plans part, which is coming up very quickly, to see what I'm going to make with it. Joey is back on my lap because he will not leave me alone. So I think before I do the plans, I think I'm going to do the costs. Yeah. Granite, everything I'm going to tell you, you can take this or leave it. Budgets are purely, I really hope that you're purring. Why is your face covered in litter? Oh my God. I really hope his purring isn't like just going insane. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. These costs are for a family of 4 with 2 dogs. We did incur a little bit of extra fee on our Airbnb for the second dog, and that we had dogs, period. Nothing extra for people though. So our Airbnb for early check-in on Thursday, which was an extra fee, and then was it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 nights, was $2,172.33. So that was a chunk. But typically, if you go look at a hotel room with dogs, if you can even find a decent one, you're not really supposed to leave the dogs in the room alone when you're not there. And we have yappy dogs, so that ain't gonna work. So we had to go the Airbnb route. So it was, you know, money well spent and for peace of mind and all that jazz. So our Airbnb was $2,172.33. We spent a total of $60.67 on gas. We're only 3 hours from there. So, and everything, the longest trip we took was to Legoland on Sunday, which was an hour one way. Tolls, $10.09. Other purchases and expenses at Rhinebeck and like souvenirs and stuff was $237.41. When we did our rail biking through Rail Explorers, that total purchase was $182.51. And Legoland in itself, with tickets, parking, and our, excursion in the store at the end, was $563.42. So, which I thought, my first guess was we weren't going to walk out of that store without spending at least $500. But I was really surprised at the lack of clothes they had. Like I was anticipating, I want a Legoland shirt or something. And John got a t-shirt and Elizabeth got a hoodie, but I didn't really see anything I liked, and neither did Sophia. So we all got Legos though. Food, all total, encompassing on the entire weekend for 4 people, was $662.99, which actually, for eating out every single meal, really wasn't that bad. We didn't try to skimp. We didn't try to cut corners on anything. But we're also, at the same token, not going to go eat lobster dinners every meal. So, but that was that. Now, do you want to hear whether Katie stayed under budget or not? So initially, I told you I had a $2,000 budget. I had an additional $500 buffer budget, And then I had another $500 buffer budget on top of that. So, grand total that I spent at Indy and Rhinebeck in person, not including my pre-orders, in person, that came off those budgets was $2,714.15. So I ate my buffer budget and ate into my buffer reserve budget. But I didn't use it all. So you got to give me that credit. My pre-orders, I had pre-ordered so far in advance, they didn't come off of any of these budgets and they were prepaid for. Those were a total of $179.66. So all total, encompassing on yarn, goodies, anything I purchased. My bags, my totes, my baskets, my sweatshirts, tote bags, all that jazz. I spent $2,893.81. So that's a chunk of money. And I have a lot to say for it. I have a lot of non-yarn purchases as well, via clothes, bags, baskets, notions. I have a lot. And I have 4 sweater quantities in there. I have zero regrets. I just have zero regrets. And I'm 100% at peace with everything I bought, which is where you should be, especially when you spend that kind of money. I got asked by so many people. I got so many messages. How in the world did you have any idea what you were going to buy? Or how did you plan your purchases at all? I planned, and then I amended the plans daily, sometimes hourly, leading up to it. But the way I amended my initial plans, like I said, I'm totally at peace with my purchases. I love them. I feel like the few things I left on the table, I would not have gotten to anytime soon, and they will always be there. I can purchase from these vendors online. I got to feel it, I got to squish it, I got to see it. I know I'm gonna love it in the future. So maybe a goal of mine, like one of the dyers that I did not go visit at all, was Fiber MacGyver. So maybe a goal of mine. Ow, I just touched my bruise. Maybe a goal of mine as a reward when I finish, let's say maybe 2 sweaters, will be to make a purchase from them. So I did blow through my initial budget, and then I went into my reserve budget, and then a little bit into my reserve. But I didn't blow it all. I didn't go over and above beyond. I didn't take any of the family money for my yarn. And I'm really happy with that. I definitely think you need to go in with a plan. You absolutely 100% need to go in with either project-specific plans or ideas. You gotta research this. You have to. And you absolutely need a budget. And pro tip, holy cow, you need to carry cash at Rhinebeck. They do have a separate Verizon tower that they installed for the event this year, but I was still towards the afternoon when I was already done with pretty much all of my shopping, except I think we bought Steve and Josh at the alpaca farm, and then I went to Cottontail for my bookmark loom. Those were the only 2 purchases that I made on credit card after the fact. But left and right, you're walking by and sorry, our credit card machine's down. Sorry, our credit card machine's down. So glad I took cash out for Rhinebeck itself because I needed it. Yeah, it was crazy. So I spent a chunk of money. I did. But do I have projects? Yes. Am I going to cast on my first project probably this week? Absolutely. I have zero regrets. None whatsoever. Not a thing. So, let's talk about my plans. Totally forgot one of my purchases from Indie, so I'm throwing that in here now. This was from Lemonwood. This is their phone minder strap. I completely forgot about it because it's been on my phone and I've been using it literally ever since I bought it. I love this thing. Okay, it literally is a metal piece that goes underneath your phone in your phone case. Does not impede my phone. I have a kind of thinner phone case from going back in the case at all. And you can remove the strap. This little accessory piece does not impede charging at all. I adore this thing. It can just hang from your wrist. I wasn't sure about getting a flower or not. John and Sophia said flower, and me and Elizabeth said regular. I will definitely be placing an order for some plain straps as well in different colors. So if you want an easier way to carry your phone, you can go to Lemonwood and grab one of these phone minders. Absolutely fantastic. Love it. And I completely forgot about it when I was doing my indie haul because it's on my phone. And it's right in front of me, but it's like there now. And yeah, so, okay. So, moving on. We've now reached our plans portion. Now, I'm going to share with you the planned projects I have in groups of yarns that I purchased over the weekend. And as you can see, I'm losing sunlight. John's home from work. I need to make dinner, so we're going to get through this. We're going to do it. So I'm going to start with Sophia's project. In my original plans video, I did deviate quite a bit from that, but it was a good starting point. One of the big ways that I deviated was I had everybody pick out, I had Sophia, Elizabeth, and John pick out a project that they wanted me to make them with yarn that they picked out over the weekend. Sophia picked out a pillow for her room. I already have yarn here to do a sweater for her, a cardigan, so she didn't want to do that. So she picked out a pillow. And we're going with I'm just going off of a pattern on Ravelry that's called the Faux Fur Heart Pillow. And these will all be linked in a bundle that I will link below. But first thing that she picked out was the Frogette yarn and then the Miss Babs Moon Glow. These are going to be held together. Then she found the Erica Sinclair mini set at Primrose. So what I came up with is these minis are going to be striped in a held double in a center heart on the front and the back. And then around it in the Frogette and the Moon Glow is going to be a heart around the edge. And then I'm going to get my sewing machine out and make a pillow insert that I can stuff or find a heart pillow that I can just put in there. So she's getting a heart pillow out of these. Project number 2 is for my sock set pattern collection next year. These are things I'm collecting multiple sock sets from. One's going to be a sock, one's going to be an accessory, so you can see if you have a sock set, what it's going to look like in a sock, what it's going to look like in an accessory. So these were my Frogette exclusive, Untangled exclusive sets. So these are going to go in that sock set pattern collection. Then I completely blanked on putting this in my plans video. It was my number 1 plan for months, and it was to make the Ovis sweater. And yeah, by Caitlin Hunter. I completely blanked on that. So I had amended my plans after I did my video, and I wanted to pick up yarn from Newburgh Yarn Company for it. So I picked up their Hudson DK. So this is going to be my main color, and then this is going to be my sheep. So that is going to be my color work sweater out of the bunch. I did pick up a second sweater quantity for myself. I queued up 2 patterns for this, 2 possibilities. One is the Kip sweater, and the other one is the Staffen sweater, both by Rebecca Clow. So it's going to be this Primrose Replay Sport held together with Primrose Crea Cloud. I don't know which one I'm going to make. We'll see when I decide to cast it on. But that is a plan for those. Then John picked out the Zipper Sweater Light men's version from Petite Knit. And if you've followed me along, you know I don't like the popular patterns. I don't like the uber popular designers. This was my first petite knit pattern. I got a headache just from trying to figure out what size to knit him. We measured him. I had to have some kind of yardage estimate going into the weekend. We measured him. He measured out at an extra small. Okay, John's not a big man. He's not a small man. He's a regular average guy that wears a large. And he measured out at an extra small. Well, that's not happening because that would just be ridiculous. So I start going through the projects and everyone's having this problem. After three reading this in just the first page of pattern or projects, 3 times people had the same thing happen. Their husband typically wears a large, measured out at an extra small. Holy cow. So I dug through the pattern a little bit more and found a second set of measurements. Those equate to a medium. I don't know what's what. I don't know if one has ease attached to it. I have no idea. They're not specific. I'm anticipating this being a little bit of work, but we're going to get it done. And it's what he wanted. So for that, he picked out and finally fell in love with Primrose Replay Worsted in the colorway Granite Gray. So I still have to get a zipper for it, but that will come with time. And this is going to be his sweater. Now I have one more planned project, and that is Elizabeth's sweater. She fell in love with the Le Pouf sweater by Hedgehog Fibers, and she just wanted, I'm going to make a few changes. She wants it cropped, and not like super crop, but like, cropped. And I'm also going to bring the neckline up because she is not a cleavage showing girl. And I think the sweater would look a little odd if you wore a t-shirt underneath it. So I'm going to bring the neckline up. And going through the projects, I see a lot of people have done that. Now for the yarn. So she really wanted color changing yarn. The Le Pouf sweater is a gradient sweater. And she really didn't want that. So I brought up the idea, I'm like, we can use a color changing yarn and it will stripe itself and it will change. And then your sleeves will be separate and it'll look really cool. So she picked out the Feederbrook Farms Entropy Decay and Bioluminescence. We got that from Frogget. Then at Miss Babs, she picked out Obsidian and Yowza for cuffs, neckline, hem. And to be held over everything is going to be Miss Babs Moonglow in Dusk. So she's going to have a slight fuzz over everything. And I think this is going to be an absolute killer project. How freaking fun is this going to be? So not only is she going to get something super cool, but I'm going to have a lot of fun knitting it too. So this is absolutely going to be the first project I cast on with yarn that I purchased over my Rhinebeck weekend. And I mean, coincidentally today, she wore her Sandy Cove sweater to the store, which I knit her a couple of years ago. So she's really going to appreciate that and love it. And I cannot wait to cast it on. So I hope that you enjoyed seeing the copious amounts of yarn that I purchased and things. Did not just buy yarn. I don't even know what the ratio was. If I had to bet, I would say I spent about 1/3 of my budget on stuff and probably 2/3 on yarn. But who cares? I don't care. It's spent. I didn't spend all my money. I didn't blow my budget. I didn't dip into family funds. I did good. So, and I'm at peace with everything. And I'm just going to sit here with my things and love them and pet them and stare at them and love them even some more. So be sure to check back for future podcasts so you can keep up to date and see when I cast on and what I cast on and how I work my way through this madness that I have purchased for myself. I do have some space on my shelves for it. So John and the girls were like, do you even have room for this? And I actually do have room for a lot of it. And Elizabeth's sweater quantity, I'm not counting. because that's getting wound up probably tomorrow and will probably be on my needles by the weekend. So that one doesn't count. I'm trying to rationalize this for myself, make it a little easier. But I do have some space, so trying not to make myself crazy too, because I did just organize everything for a second time. I don't want to lose that organization or make a mess. So make sure you subscribe, check back for my future podcast episodes, and you'll get to see me knit up my madness. And, just, yeah. So we already planned our next Fiber Fest, which is going to be in February. And yeah, we're all super excited for that. So I hope that I gave you some tips and tricks on maybe attending your next Rhinebeck or, Rhinebeck satellite events, day prior events, all that jazz, or maybe just yarn events in general. So, all right, guys, I have to go make my family dinner and put away my yarn so the dogs don't sniff it and lick it and, sleep all over it and add more hair to it. So, okay, I am off to probably also go wind this yarn. So, until next time, happy knitting, everybody.